That was stupid. I know. Today we're going to talk about, it's a tough one for me. Big one for a lot of us. Listening with these bad boys right here. Oh my God, this one is such a test for me. It's crazy. Listening sometimes feels like an existential riddle sometimes. I wrestle with it. And if I'm honest, my struggle with ADHD only sharpens those edges. I drift, I jumped, I interrupt, of course, all the time. I blur the lines between their story and mine. The moment someone says something I connect with, my mind just races to show them I understand, to prove that I'm right there with them. And honestly, suddenly it becomes a mirror, actually, just reflecting my own experiences. And I know that's something a lot of you pirates out there can relate to. In this world, so many of us crave to be heard. So many of us want to be seen. That urge, that hunger, it's universal, and that's okay. But let me tell you, when I manage to quiet those impulses, to resist jumping in, even if the urge to connect is strong and the points are screamingly relatable, it's a battle every time, most certainly. But progress, of course, isn't linear. And my track record is patchy at best. Just ask my wife or my friends, they'll be happy to tell you. Yet, in those rare moments, I succeed. And that feeling is profound. Now, I haven't gotten perfect at this, and I never will, but I have made progress here recently, and it does feel good, even just that amount of progress. So I am imperfect for sure. But I will tell you, when I do listen, really truly listen, it is deeply rewarding. And of course, perfection is not the goal. Maybe the act of just striving for now is where the magic hides. I mean, it's wild how when I don't get swept away by excitement or the urge to interject, when I just listen, the conversation completely transforms. It's almost like I've stepped momentarily like outside of myself or something into their world. And suddenly my life feels less chaotic and more harmonious. Now, the philosophy here is simple, but not easy. Simple, but not easy. Listening is a gift, an act of humility, if you will, a way of honoring another story. Now, in that space, both dialogue and my existence find a smoother rhythm. And don't sweat it, you're gonna get your turn. You'll get to share your truth. My impatience is rooted in this deep belief that if I don't speak now, my side will never get heard. But honestly, here's the truth. Even if my perspective does get lost, I mean, who cares? Really, who cares? When I show up fully, when I listen, not just to reply, but to understand, something shifts. And I love this saying, and I'm sure you've probably heard this before, but it is better to understand than to be understood. Mind blowing, I know. But when I do that, the floodgates open and people reveal themselves. Connection blooms from the soil of genuine attention. And that is the real treasure here, pirates. I won't pretend that I'm not selfish at times. I'm certainly not exempt, but I am getting a little better, and that's progress, like I talked about. But when a conversation turns familiar or fascinating, my mind races to make it about me. But when I slow down And I have to remind myself of that over and over. Recently, it's gotten better, but this is what it takes. I have to remind, even in the moment of listening, I'm telling myself, slow down, relax, listen to what they're saying. And when I do, when I just pause, breathe, and listen, everything becomes gentler. The dialogue deepens, the relationship strengthens, and I'll even go as far to say that my life, in its own humble way, improves. And maybe that's the lesson here, you know? Listening isn't just about charging forward when someone says something that I can relate to or I find interesting, but also about stepping back, opening up, and letting someone else's story become the hero for a moment. Think about how important that is. You know, even recently, a couple months ago, I was at a work party. A couple guys at the party were kind of opening up to me, and for some reason, I wasn't interjecting or interrupting them. I just sat there. I really listened. I looked into their eyes, or whatever it may be, but I really listened to what they were saying, and man, they just opened up. It felt so good. People definitely want to be heard just as much as I do. I'm just so extroverted and feel like I need to get all my points out before you can make any of yours. I think Bill Burr actually has a really great bit about that, one of his specials, so he gets credit for that one. But the point is just like I said before, when I try to understand instead of trying to be understood and interrupt and interject, I mean, it just makes the whole flow of the conversation just, and sometimes that just happens naturally with two people, of course, but if you're anything like me, pirates, and you struggle with listening to people, you want to interject, take a pause, take a moment, and just really listen to what they're saying, and you don't need to jump in every time. I don't need to jump in every time. Sometimes I just need to sit there and really listen and be engaged in that. And oh my God, that has made my life tremendously better. Even the small amount of progress that I've made with that really has improved a lot of my relationships, my friendships. Relationships are friendships. But yeah, it's made some major leaps in my life. And I really want to express that, especially for any of you that feel like that can be a hard thing, or you're having a hard time connecting, or you're not listening to what they're saying, and then you have to go back and talk to them about what they did say because you were just so in your head about it, like the way that I can be. But I've made progress. And if someone like me can do that, trust me, pirates, you can too. Let's have a great week, okay? Signing off.